This is Josephine Electric from Fam Electric Ghost, and this interview is with Rick Life. And we had a little bit of a hiccup where I was supposed to be doing the entire interview as Josephine Electric, but we had a mixing issue, so this is the only part that you'll hear Miss Josephine Electric on this episode. Next time we'll try to get her on for the whole part. So Phantom will be thinking he's me when he's not. So sorry about that. But this is the interview again with Rick Life. We're talking about her new record, and it starts right now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Josephine Electric, the lead singer of Fam Electric Ghost, and this is only my second time interviewing an artist I talked to in Sydney, UK, like maybe 6 months ago. But now we have Rick Life here, and I think the Phantom talked to you before, but now I'm talking to you. Josephine's talking to you. And so you've got a brand new song out on Bentley Records, right?
Yes. Just right, yeah.
It just came out, it's called Peach Juice.
Yes.
Yeah, and just a little bit of like a background on it. You worked with a Japanese rapper,
Yes.
Yona.
Yeah.
And it's like a Japanese R&B hip hop song.
Yes.
And it's kind of talking about a sexual relationship from both a man and a woman's perspective, and insisting on the fairness of sex. And it's got like a K-pop kind of hip hop and Japanese R&B all kind of combined, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a really I dig the track a lot, and we actually are gonna if you don't mind, can we play it?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So we'll
Thank you.
And then I'll put you on mute and we'll come back, okay? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
So we're gonna play the song right now. So this is Josie again. We're gonna jump in again, but this song is really cool. It's got elements of like what the Phantom said: hip hop, K-pop, J-pop, and Rick Life is doing the lead top line, and then the other line is done by Yona. He's doing primarily the Japanese hip hop R&B. So without further ado, we're gonna play the entire track for the song Peach Juice. Rick Life and Yona.
見つめ合うスキンシップのキスハグ期待は大って意外じゃないじらしたピーチに指を伝うほんの理性狭間で揺れるもういい時間空にはフルムーン未だに続く氷は溶けてぬるめなグラス誰でもいいのあなたがいいのたまにしちゃってる仲たがいいも激しくなるスパイスに変換折れないフラッグいつもステンバイ君に夢中身に染みるだからそっち満たしてピーチのジュースチャンスは一瞬だって分かってるうるさいラジオも今は黙ってピーチジュース Can you take it now ピーチジュース Oh my sweetheart ピーチジュース You make it all me and you ピーチジュースピーチジュース Can you take it now ピーチジュース Oh my sweetheart ピーチジュース You make it all me and you ピーチジュース準備はできてる後半戦上に乗るための乗車券気遣いできる俺はミツバチ吸わせて前白ともなく静かにフェザータッチじらして熟成その後ならもうくんずほぐれ我慢できない浮かんだシルエット食わぬは恥だなブラ乗るスウェテンならなら生エ怖いのは嫌だ分かってたがピーチジュースのシャワー嫌よもう好きのうちディープなキスでお口直し何回戦でも足んないぜ時計の針ならもう半回転体に記した美貌録好意を示したピロートークピチジュース Do you want me now? ピチジュース Let you love me ピチジュース You hit it all you and me ピチジュースピチジュース Do you want me
We love those atmospheric pads. So that is Peach Juice from Rick Life and Yona. And then again, this is Miss Josephine Electric, and we weren't able to talk totally in this episode, but we want to really point out that this song is really cool. It's kind of what we're into all the time. We're always kind of talking about sexual relationships, and we really dig the concept of peach juice. And we wanted to add that we wholeheartedly love this song and encourage everybody to check it out. And we'll get back into the main interview with the Phantom instead of me because we kind of did something not right there, but we're getting back into the interview now.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hi, I'm pretty good. That was Peach Juice by Rick Life and Yona. You're back on. Hello.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I really like the vibe on it because it is kind of it's got like a new wave sound, kind of the synths, and then it's got like K-pop and J-pop and some hip hop. But I like the way your voice comes in. It kind of reminds me like a new wave. I'm like 54, so I grew up in early 80s, like 79, listening to bands like Joy Division. It later became New Order and Depeche Mode and like The Cure. And I'm a keyboardist, and I kind of got inspired from that kind of new romantic, new wave movement that was like post punk, and they took synthesizers and they made these pop songs.
Oh, I see.
Right? Yeah, in the
Oh.
early 80s, like late 70s, early 80s, it was like the post punk movement. There was they decided that you could take a band like Joy Division and become New Order, inspire bands like Depeche Mode and The Cure and all those type of bands that use Duran Duran. They all kind of had this kind of romantic sense to the music, but they used synthesizers and they built these pop songs kind of off of synthesizers, and then you would have guitars, and it was just like it would mix different things because sometimes you'd have African rhythms and sometimes you'd have heavy guitar. It would kind of go in different directions, but I really like your sound because it's kind of got those like the synthesizers remind me of kind of that kind of 90s synthesizer sound.
Oh yeah.
Like atmospheric sound that people would use like D50s or Yamaha DX7s, those type of sounds. They have those atmospheric sounds, or even like JD 800s from Roland's would have these like very atmospheric 90s sounds.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I try to make it the sounds. Most likely try to make the like sweet and like a cuddle atmosphere, but at the same time try to make it like sounds nostalgic, so like people can feel more emotionally from the sound. So yeah, you got the point actually.
Josephine feels it too. I'm a big fan of synthesizers. I'm a hardware synthesizer guy. I actually have Moogs. I physically have Moogs and Rolands, and I just ordered like a JD 800, like an emulator from Roland, like a boutique one. But it's like I'm really into, getting the actual synth that made, like getting a Jupiter or getting a Juno 106 or finding a Prophet 5. Just because there's certain things about those synths. It's kind of like guitars. If you're a guitar player, you take a guitar and you get different types of guitars to give you the mood. And the same thing with synthesizers. There's certain synthesizers that can kind of bring you into a mood. Like if you listen to Duran Duran Rio, it's all Jupiter 8. It's like a Jupiter 8 synth, and as soon as you hear it, you're like, oh, that's a Jupiter. Or if you hear like Van Halen Jump, it's like an Oberheim. There's certain synthesizers that are kind of iconic with a particular song. And I just love, I like synth pop. I'm kind of born into synth pop, and I like how you integrated the K-pop and J-pop and the R&B and the hip hop. It's all kind of all there, and it's getting foreign language, and it's really because because of K-pop, a lot of people are listening to bands from Asia. But
Yeah.
like you said, they're really probably not listening to. They listen to more like bands like Asian Kung Fu Generation because they were tied to anime. That
Yeah.
a lot of Americans like where they were into Bleach or they're into Naruto, and they would listen to the bands that had the soundtracks for those animes.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like you got to break through with maybe that kind of K-pop reference, to say, hey, there's a J-pop too, and and
Yes.
and
Yes.
get people to understand it's like a different flavor though. I like what you're doing because you kind of got this new wave feel, a little bit
Yeah.
more than what I've heard. The K-pop is like more modern.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You got some like modern hip hop elements, but I like the 80s and 90s sounds coming out of your music.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I realize like these days like music trend like kind of go back to 80s and the 90s sound. Like for example, did you know the Bruno Mars just
Mm.
released the like
Yeah,
his
retro.
new.
Yeah, it's a retro album.
I listened to the whole album, but it's totally remind me of it's not sounds new, but like a kind of bring back to like a 90s, 80s flavors.
Yeah, there's a lot
And
of
then
that. I mean,
yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
think there's a lot of bands. I mean, we have bands like soul bands that actually try to sound like 1974.
Yeah, yeah,
There are bands that'll try to like channel Curtis Mayfield,
yeah. Yeah,
or they'll try to sound like Sly and the Family Stone or something. Like
yeah. Mm-hmm.
like if you go into San Francisco, there are bands that actually sound like the Grateful Dead.
Ah, yeah, yeah. Grateful Dead is
Yeah,
really
yeah. So I mean, it's like
biggest fan. Yeah.
I think it's kind of like we're in an age where like anybody can kind of pick any particular period. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's a band that kind of sounds like the Carpenters, a band called Tennis, and
Mm-hmm.
they kind of channel Karen Carpenter. The lead singer has a vibe. It sounds kind of like Karen Carpenter, and they make this like '70s type of pop music. And it's 21st century.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you want to do that? But there's a fan base kind of for like every type of music.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah,
if you're
true.
if you're into something, you can kind of bring it back. So I think it's cool to
Mm-hmm.
kind of just like figure out like one song might sound like the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
another song might sound like the 60s. You
Yeah.
just kind of depends on what you're into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but and also like originally I was influenced the music from like around I can say like a post 80s and around 90s R&B and hip hop. So somehow the sound is reflect to the my new piece Peach Juice somehow.
Oh wow,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean that's interesting because uh, yeah, this very much of a 90s feel to what you've done, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really I really like it because it has a very cool sound to it,
Oh, thank
and
you.
yeah, I just think it's a really nice feel to have be able to listen to somebody that can actually channel that and do something new because it's like your take on that sound,
Mm-hmm.
but it's yours. Yeah, because it's like if somebody can play the blues, right? Like Stevie Ray Vaughan can play the blues,
Mm-hmm.
but it's his interpretation, and so that
Yeah.
it's like your flavor of how you do that, and I think it's
Mm-hmm.
really cool to be able to do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So,
believe so, yeah.
are you working on like a bigger project, or are you doing just releasing singles?
I'm currently doing kind of bigger project with the artist. Maybe if you check my music, you know the I released the Kiss Me Baby
Hmm.
with Tatezuka 2000,
Okay.
and then I'm working with him again for two biggest project. And then the one project is coming out next month before Christmas, and then another one I'm still working on, but I'm gonna make a beat and he's gonna sing on my beat, and he invited one of the American rapper in Chicago. So like we try to make US hip hop and like plus J-pop. It tried to combine with the US hip hop and then J-pop.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I feel like I just keep like combine with like so many different genre, but it's really fun actually. I feel like I try to make a new genre, try to make a revolution for that music genre.
Yeah, I think it's really like I said, it's wide open. Like what I do with my music, I call it expansive sound.
Mhm.
And the reason I do that is because then sometimes I'll play funk, I'll
Mhm.
do like really heavy punk,
Mhm.
I'll do rock, and I'll get into like lately I've been getting into kind of trap,
Mhm.
because I got like at a high force.
Mhm.
So I started using the kind of MPC type of like clip based programming because typically I
Mhm.
don't usually record in a clip way. I
Mhm.
usually record like from like analog synths right to direct to tape. Um,
I
but
see.
now I
Mhm.
got this Akai Force and it has this MP uh, like a MPC type of workflow, like an Ableton clip based workflow, and I
Mm.
never really worked like that. But now
Mhm.
because I can launch clips and I can do an arranger mode, and so
Mhm.
now I can actually take elements of like EDM and DJ type of stuff and put it into my music.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool. Mhm.
yeah, and it's kind of cool because then you can also bring in MIDI instruments. Like you could bring a Moog into it, and then
Mhm.
still have your analog instrument coming in, but then have this kind of really tight composition coming from the clips.
Oh, I
So
see.
it
I
gives
see.
it like a way to
Mhm.
kind of hybrid.
That's really cool. The like you make another new sound by hybrid.
Yeah, I just think it's
Mhm.
cool today because you can kind of people will say, well, I don't like the DAW, and for a
Mhm.
lot of years I said, well, I really don't like it, but now I kind of compromise, but I didn't really fully compromise because the force is kind of like it's a hardware machine that
Mhm.
you're not in a DAW, but it acts like a DAW. So
I
you
see. I
can
see.
you can download like soft synths and stuff and then
Mhm.
and then run clips, but it's all like you don't have to be connected to a computer, but then you can dump it to a DAW
Oh, okay.
and then you can work on a DAW. So you have kind of like if you're a person that wants to do a hardware type of
Mhm.
thing, you can kind of still work in a hardware workflow, but
Mhm.
then if you had to send it to somebody,
Mhm.
you can send it to them like in an Ableton clip kind of format so that
Okay.
then some other producer can understand what you did.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, because that's the thing is like if you kind of do analog, you just
Yeah,
end up
true.
sending people like stems that are all like wave files,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's not as tight as the MIDI stuff. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so like sometimes when I worked as a producer, people say, "Well, this stuff is not like what I'm used to." It's like, yeah, it's kind of old school.
Yeah, yeah. Because even I just keep like after heard that you were like the steps for like how do you make the sounds with the synthesizer. Cause I'm not familiar with also because I always use the like these synthesizer sound from just the plugin on the
Yeah,
DAW on the
yeah,
computer. So I
yeah.
feel like whoa, that's a lot of steps, but at the same time like it's for me it gonna be like a new thing to find a new sound and then maybe I can make another new music, so for me it sounds really new. I know it's old school but yeah.
Yeah, it's just cool to be able to use like if you think about it, like there's so many analog synths. Like when I was growing up, it was kind of this weird situation, like coming from the punk age into
Mm-hmm.
new wave, and then you came into like heavy metal, like Motley Crue and bands like that. But in that period, like a bunch of synthesizer companies, they went away. They went out of business
Mm-hmm.
because the Yamaha DX7 came, and then
Mm-hmm.
Moog and Prophet, the guys that made the Prophet 5, and Moog itself went out of business. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of small synth companies that made these analog things like ARP, the ARP 2500, which is a famous, like the Odyssey. Those are like real famous analog synths, and all the companies kind of got wiped out because
Mhm.
the Yamaha EX7 kind of took over,
Mm.
and the Roland D50 took over the market, and
Mhm.
then all the smaller synth companies fell out. And
Oh, I see.
and
Mhm.
and then what happened was like in the last like 10 years,
Mhm.
people like because of EDM and hip hop and other electronic music formats,
Mhm.
um, the analog synth companies have all come back. Like Moog is
Mm.
making brand new analog synths. Prophet, you can buy a brand new Prophet 5. You can
Mhm.
buy an Oberheim. You can
Mhm.
get an Odyssey. You can
Mhm.
get an ARP. You can actually get all these 1970 synthesizers are being built again,
Oh, I
and
see. Oh,
they're
that's good.
fully
Mhm.
analog. And so there's
Mhm.
tons of like artists that are into techno
Mhm.
and like trance and trap that actually can get their hands on actual real analog synthesizers, like modern
Mhm.
21st century synthesizers, but they've got MIDI. They can they've got screens on them so you can actually understand what's going on.
Mhm.
But it gives you like another tool set. If you go to a studio and you physically see one of these analog synths,
Mhm.
that you can do a lot of cool stuff with them in your mix. There's some things about them that can really change the dynamics of your song, you know.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
And it's like a lot of once people discover what you can do with them, then they tend to want to add them into their workflow.
Mm.
but the plugins, like I'm not against it because not everybody can get their hands on a Moog or an
Mhm.
ARP or a Jupiter or something. So you do what you can. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's really what you do with it. I mean, you can take a Casio, you could take $100 guitar, you can make a great song.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have to have the most expensive equipment, but it's just cool to
Yeah, it's
understand some
still
of the
cool, yeah.
the history of it. I think it's like
Mhm.
the history of some of this stuff is this basically you can it's like a palette. As a
Mhm.
musician, you have this palette in
Mhm,
front of
yeah.
you, of all this stuff you could do. You could have, or somebody playing real strings. You can have
Mm,
somebody playing a flautist.
yeah.
You can decide what the song needs. So when you work on a
Yeah.
song, do you kind of think about what the instrumentation should be, or do the lyrics kind of come first?
For me, just the sound comes first, and cause I'm mainly my activity is for focus on the making beat. So just like I first I can say like just the main melody
Yeah.
came up with me, and then find out the melody sound, and then after that I try to figure out the what chord gonna be fitting the melody, and then put some
Oh, I think you dropped off a little bit. I think I lost you. Yeah, we lost you for a little bit.
lyrics who really
Okay.
good at
Yeah, I lost you. I
writing
lost
the
you.
yes.
For some reason, I lost you for like a couple of seconds. I lost what you were saying, then you came
No,
back.
okay, okay, okay. Well, the first for me, the melody just came out in my mind, and
Hmm.
then just find out the melody sound, and after that I try to figure out the chord, which chord gonna be fitting for the melody, and then after that just I add some rhythm. And for me, the lyrics, um, I I don't have much confidence for writing good lyrics. So in the case, I normally invite the other artists who actually for focus on the singing and do rap. So that's why like like for the peach juice, I also invite the rapper. So like
Hmm.
he can cover like most of the song with his
Yeah.
own lyrics, and I just cover the hook part.
Yeah.
It's
So you
really
did like
short, so yeah.
so you did like a top line, and he did
Yeah,
like the primary. Do you have
yeah,
that peach juice kind of line? That's you, right?
yeah.
And then he's doing the rapping, but then you have this kind of like a spoken word kind of kind of trippy, kind of new wave voice, um,
Yes, yes.
doing the peach juice, and you did it
Mhm.
in a kind of in a unique way. The way you kind of did the enunciation on it,
Mhm.
it kind of is like this J-pop thing. You know, it's
Mhm.
got this sound that's very unique. It's not typical what you would hear,
Yeah.
and I like it. I like it because it kind of it's very striking and it kind of is it's catchy.
Oh, thank you.
So you got the top line and then you've got the rap.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it works really well because if you continue, are you going to continue in that kind of path with having like somebody come in like Yona, or
Yeah,
you?
yeah, sure. Like, yeah, I would just want to keep invited other artists to the collaborate with me. Yeah, it way better for me.
Yeah, because I know you like to do like you like to structure the instrumental part of the song and the beat part of the song, but you do
Yeah.
have you know in the way the world is, you do have to have your voice on a song
Mm-hmm.
to kind of be like a top, you know, to be a performing act. You gotta have your voice in there somewhere.
Yes. Yeah, try to put my voice somewhere else, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then you can kind of target. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I can do the top line like in peach juice, and then I can have
Mm-hmm.
somebody else do like you know the rap or R&B singing. You can have somebody like sing some R&B lines, and then
Yeah, yeah.
maybe you could continue to do kind of peach juice, like have your voice coming in that kind of way,
Mm-hmm.
or even kind of put it through a vocoder or pitch it you know down to kind of experiment or something. Because you know what I'm doing right now is I'm using a Roland VT4
Mm-hmm.
to be Josephine, and that's basically taking my voice and making it
You're
soprano.
pitching it
Like if
up
I go
like
back to
this.
who my normal voice,
Mm-hmm.
this is me,
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
and this is Josephine.
Josephine
yeah.
pitching it
Yeah.
up.
So
Yeah.
Josephine and Josephine, I can actually make her a little bit more
Yeah.
high.
You make
This is
me a little
Josephine.
bit,
It made her a little bit pitched
a
up,
little more pitched up,
Mm-hmm.
so
huh?
I can actually take her up a little bit, but
Like,
then I
hun,
tend to
don't
bring
you
her
like
down
that?
a little more because it
Don't you
sounds more
like that?
natural.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think you
So I
like that a
kind of
lot.
settled on her
yeah.
when I do ghost songs. This is the Josephine voice. I
Yeah.
kind of have it
I'm
at
the
this
one.
level. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'll pitch it up a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
Really high.
but a lot of times I'll do that, or I might add this kind of effect here where it sounds like there's two of me,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's
like
two of
there's two
us.
Josephines.
Two Josephines.
Yeah,
Too
yeah,
hot to
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
handle.
yeah,
yeah. People also said that like they say like I have two mood. Like
yeah,
yeah, this is me like the regular in the casual in the daily, but they say like when I focus on music on my piece,
yeah,
like it
yeah,
sounds like a different person. So
yeah.
they
Dominate
say
as a
like yeah, the
boost.
two mood of me.
Yeah, I do find that like when I talk to a lot of musicians,
Hmm.
and they go on stage, like if you think about when you go on stage, right?
Yeah.
In order to be like a performer, most musicians kind of have a stage persona.
Hmm.
Like in my stage persona, you
Yeah.
know, you can see, you know, I got my normal like phantom voice, which
Hmm.
we just show, you know, like my male voice. And
Hmm.
then a lot of like 90% of ghost songs are done with this
We're
voice.
done with
Hmm.
Josephine.
And so when I go on stage, I actually have a mask.
Hmm.
Because nobody
Oh.
wants to see
Because
you.
what I do, because I
Who
didn't want
wants
to
to see
wear a
Josephine?
dress.
Oh yeah.
So I decided that I
Josephine.
wear a phantom mask
Hmm.
and a hoodie that's like electric, and it's basically all these LEDs. And I actually
Hmm.
wear like a Phantom of the Opera mask. And
Hmm.
so then I can go on stage and I can go between this voice,
Hmm.
or I could go back to this voice. And so if I'm performing, I can actually perform like this,
Hmm.
or I can perform like her. And
Yeah.
so, and if
Yeah.
I wear this kind of phantom mask, well, a ghost could be male or female. And
Come
that's the whole
Hmm.
on.
idea. Like my band is like Phantom Electric Ghost, is because like, well, am I Phantom or am I Josephine? Maybe I'm both at the
I'm
same time.
Josephine.
Oh yeah.
Both
Oh,
at the
that's
same
interesting.
time.
Yeah.
That's what I found. Is just because I
Hmm.
found it was easier for me to pretend to be somebody else when
Mm.
I wanted to go on stage. I didn't really
Hmm.
want to just be me.
Hmm.
So I wanted to kind of bring this thing, and I found a lot of artists they kind of feel that way. There's like this other person that comes out when they perform. So I mean,
Yeah.
do you feel like that you
Yes,
yeah
yes, yeah, it's totally agree. Cause when if you check my Instagram, you know that about the recently I just had a photo shoot,
yeah
and then but at the time I feel like during the photo shoots, I turned to like a different person, like in a daily just the in the daily life just I'm just normal
yeah
person and a little bit shy, but during the photo shoot I feel like I was full of confidence with
yeah
anything, yeah,
I
doing
have
anything,
yeah
yeah.
I have noticed on your stage persona on your Instagram that
Mm.
you have this very it's very beautiful. You have this
Oh,
like
thank you.
and it's like it's got this and I think when we first talked you weren't projecting that image, you were
Mm,
projecting like more like the artist kind of producer image, and now
mm,
you're projecting this a stage persona
mm,
that because the kind of the way the industry is, you kind of got to have a stage presence. Like I can't come out with just blue jeans, you know,
yeah,
looking like whatever. Like I'm a producer, I can look like I'm a producer,
yeah, yeah,
but maybe I should look like a performer.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yes, I totally agree.
yeah, because if you're in your producer mode, it's like, well, I'm in my sweatpants,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't shave, and like I look like I've been up all night.
yeah. Yeah,
But if
yeah.
I'm gonna actually go
Same.
on stage, I probably should look different.
Yeah, yeah, same here. Yeah, that's why like I post the photography which try to looks like fancy,
Yeah,
gorgeous. Yeah.
yeah. But I think it's a really good look. You got a good look. It's a
Oh,
really
thank
good
you.
image. It's kind of what is necessary as an artist. That you have to project, and a lot of times you'll get artists. If you think
Hmm.
about like the grunge artists, they kind of said, well, we're gonna do punk. And so Kurt Cobain, he came out there with the blue jeans. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna come out like I've been up all night.
Yeah.
But
Mm,
then that became like a costume
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
like, are you really looking like that all the time? Or are you now trying to look like that, and that
Mm,
is your costume? You know what I mean?
yes, yes.
Because sometimes something is, well, that's authentic, and then suddenly, well, if you're doing all the time, it doesn't seem. Maybe that's the costume.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yes, I know.
it's kind of different. Um,
Yeah, totally.
but yeah, it's interesting. I really like what you're doing. So, do you have like more songs? I think we talked about it, but how are you putting out like songs into 2022, like every month, or you have like a plan for like what's going on into 2022?
Well, for the 2022, I still don't have like a clear plan, but so far what I'm trying to do is at least like every month I try to I'll release at least one song or at least one beat for my beat stars the market page, so the listeners uh just can't keep catch me with up, because otherwise if I stop it like I'm just afraid of like if I make like a blank like a 1 month or 2 months to release for the next song, there might be like a like a stay away a little bit. I realize that this industry just keeps moving too fast, so I try to catch it with the trendy. So that's why I try to post and release my music as much as possible for every month.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if anybody checks out the Ghost, and
Yeah, yeah.
we put stuff out like all the time. We
Yeah, I
never stop.
realized that. Yes.
Yeah, well, we found there's some people that have told us, oh, don't do that,
Mm,
but we found that like if you in the old world in music, you could spend 2 years working on a project,
yeah, yeah.
but because this is like the internet,
Yeah, because
and
of the yeah.
yeah, because you got people on Instagram and Facebook and SoundCloud and
Mhm.
Spotify and all these sites. Like if you don't show up, if you disappear for 2 years,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that your fans are still going to be there. If you had like a fan
Yeah.
base and you disappear, you might not be able to bring them back.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you do have to keep people engaged
Yeah.
more than what you used to, because it used to be okay, your fans will suddenly come back because you're at the record store. But now,
Yes.
the record stores that are open 24/7
Mm-hmm.
on the net. It used to be like, well,
Yeah.
the record store, you go on Tuesday and you get the song.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. You would walk down to us. Well, in the U.S., Tuesday was the release day.
Oh,
Back,
Tuesday.
yeah,
Okay.
back in the '80s and stuff. You go to
Mm-hmm.
the record store like on Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
and you pick up your cassette or your CD or your vinyl,
I
and
see.
you'd read like Rolling Stone and you say, hey, what got 4 stars? What got 5 stars? At least
Mm-hmm.
I did,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I was like a DJ. I worked in like a college radio,
Mm-hmm.
and so I would go read Rolling Stone, and I go to record stores, and I try to find like the things that were like the top 10 records that Rolling Stone said were the best thing for that week.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Oh, I
I'd
see.
use
Mm-hmm.
like the budget to go get them, to this like an indie record, college radio, and then play like
Mm-hmm.
the indie stuff, like the REM,
Mm-hmm.
play REM, play like a lot of lo-fi stuff, a lot of like REM used to be like like one of the college bands. They were like the college radio darling.
Mm-hmm.
Before they got big, they were on a small label called IRS before they went to Warner Brothers, and
Mm-hmm.
they were on a very small label, and it was college radio stations like mine that actually kind of boosted them,
Mm-hmm.
because we would go and listen to like these underground bands, like
Mm-hmm.
REM. It had been like an underground band, and we like, oh, we like that,
Mm-hmm.
and and we push it, and that's kind of what I like to do today, is
Mm-hmm.
we look out there on Instagram
Mm-hmm.
and see who are the new bands,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and kind of push them on the podcast, because I
Mm-hmm.
think people should listen to like, not just what's in the top 10,
Mm-hmm.
but also like what's going on in underground and
Mm-hmm.
emerging artists.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the emerging kind of category, and we like to give people focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what we like to do.
Mm, yeah, yeah,
So we're
yeah.
happy that we had you on the program again. Pete Shoot.
Yeah, yeah, same. Yeah, I'm really happy that I finally released it.
Well, how long did it take you to put this song together? I mean, did you find it was easy to do, or did it take a while?
Well, I can say somehow it takes time to figure out the um for the best hook part for my
Mm-hmm.
like singing part. Also, kind of Yona also said like it was his first time to try to make the rap for the R&B sound.
Oh,
So
okay.
somehow, yeah, somehow like it sounds like he also struggled with, but yeah, he made the best rap ever and fit in the sound. So yeah, the as a result, I'm really satisfied with that.
Yeah, it is it's a catchy song. It's like the right length for the way things are. It's
Mm-hmm.
under 3 minutes. It's got a really recognizable hook.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got that, like I said, it's got the K-pop, J-pop,
Mm-hmm.
American kind of R&B influence, and it's got some of that synth wave, new wave kind of atmospheric synth from the '90s. Like, if anybody that listened to '90s synthesizers, would get into like D50s and
Mm-hmm.
JD 800s and stuff like that. It just has that sound,
Mm-hmm.
and that's always been something I really dig. Being a synth player, I always pick up when people have nice pads and nice chord changes. I'm always like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, I really dig the song. I think everybody should go check it out. We're going to include the link.
Oh,
We
thank you. Mm-hmm.
and we do have to put the episode together. Sometimes for some reason, sometimes the Spotify doesn't come in, and then we have to kind of go back and tape it.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll be putting this out within the next hour and a half, and we'll let you know when it's up, because this is not like live. Like our video podcasts are live, but the audio ones we have to actually construct. and edit and stuff. So this will get put out onto Spotify and 10 other platforms, including Apple and Radio Public. And eventually, we actually have a way to get it onto YouTube as kind of like a lyric video.
Mm-hmm.
So we can actually put this onto YouTube. I mean, there's no video other than maybe a picture. It might have your picture, one of the pictures you sent me,
Yeah, sure.
as like as the main thing. So you would have your picture, and then you could hear it, but it
Mm-hmm.
would be on YouTube. So we're gonna try to do that too.
Thank you.
Yep. So thank you again for being on the show. We really like having you here. And when you have something else you want to push, let us know, and we'll definitely put you on the show again.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Check out Rick Life. We've got the links. Check her out on Spotify. Everywhere you're on most of the platforms. If you're on Apple, you're on Spotify, or I bet you're on Tidal and all the other ones that are out there, including YouTube Music. I would think you're on YouTube Music, right, too? So we really thank her a lot for being on the show. This is Josephine again. Well, maybe not Josephine. Josephine's mic messed up again. So we just want to thank
Everybody for being on the show.
yeah, there we are. So we apologize for not being fully on the show because of other issues, but we really enjoyed being on the show for the brief time we were. Please check out Rick Life on all the platforms, and we did wanted to plug our current sponsors. So if you want to check out charity-focused online lottery, visit doublejack.online, and check out the link that's included on this episode with found.ee/doublejack_online. And you can get in there and you can try what is called, charity-focused gaming, which gives money to charity, but then you also have the opportunity to play Powerball, Keno, and other types of things on an online lottery that is out there that's philanthropic. So check it out. Again, that's doublejack.online. If you use our link, found.e/doublejack_online, then it helps us out. And then also, there's another sponsor, Newsly, at www.newsly.me, and use promo code GHOST2021. You can receive 1 free month premium subscription. So check that out. And again, go out and check out Peach Juice on all platforms: iTunes, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon, YouTube Music, and of course Spotify. And Rick Life and Yona did an awesome job on that track. You should give it all the love. Playlist it, download it, do whatever you can. Go on Amazon and buy it. Go on YouTube Music and download it, favorite it, playlist it, do it everything you can. We love you, Rick Life. Check it out. This podcast was presented by Josephine Electric and Phantom Electric Ghost. Thank you very much for listening to our podcast. This is Phantom Electric Ghost, and Newsly is an audio app for iOS and Android. It picks up web articles about the most trending topics on the web at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice. So for the first time in history on the net, the web becomes listenable. Browse articles from topics you choose and start playing, stop scrolling, start listening. They have podcasts as well, so explore trending podcasts from over 40 countries. Our podcast, the Phantom Electric Ghost podcast, is on there too, so download and use Newsly for free now from www.newsly.me. So that's www.newsly.me, and that's NEWSLY.me. And so use the promo code GHOST2021 and receive a 1 month free premium subscription. So that's a pretty cool deal. So all you got to do is use GHOST2021 and you get a 1 month free premium subscription to Newsly. Check it out. You'll like it. I listen to it every day and it's really great. Thank you. And keep on listening to Peg and everything else on Anchor FM and Spotify podcast. Thank you.